Hey guys, this is Scott over at theversatileguitarist.com. In this video, I want to show you how to play the rhythm that you're hearing in just about every Gipsy Kings song. It's a pattern that you can use for any rumba that you play, and also for a lot of like rock and pop songs, as we'll see coming up. And once we learn it, we're going to put it to use by learning the chords to an actual Gipsy Kings song. Hey, if you want to learn more about the nylon string guitar and what I believe are the 3 most essential techniques for the right hand and exactly how to practice them in very little time, check out my free workshop below this video. Alright, now a lot of Gipsy Kings songs, they've got a capo on the 2nd fret. I'm going to take it off though because you might not have a capo, and later on we can put it back on if we want to play along to the recording or something like that. So if you've seen my Rumba tutorial video, I give you all the elements that you need to play this. And just to recap that though, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to play an E minor chord here. We had a rumba where we just went like this: 1 and 2 and slap and 4 and 1 and 2 and slap. Now we can use that as a rumba. It's very, very simple, and it doesn't really capture all the syncopation that we really need to rumbafy something, you could say. But what I'm doing here, let's just figure this out, is down, up, slapping with my palm, and then up, down, up. So it's important if you slap this way. We're going to see another way that we can make a percussive sound in a second here. But if we're slapping with our palm, we need to precede the slap with a thumb up stroke because it blends us right into the slapping motion. So what we could do is play maybe our thumb before the slap and our index finger after the slap. We're going to complicate this a little bit in a second. So we have thumb, down, up, slap, up, down, up. It's all 8th notes like a clock where it's going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. For now we want to go down every time there's a number and up whenever there is an and that's important, but we can violate that later. But right now we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That was our first pattern. Now our second pattern would be don't slap at all, just don't do anything. So 1 and 2 and nothing and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and. So on the 3rd beat where we were slapping before, we're not doing anything, so there's a tie there on the and of 2. And what that does is bring out a little bit of an accent on the and of 2, we could say. 1 and 2 and. Because we're waiting there, it calls attention to the and of 2, and we go, oh, that sounds a little more important there. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. But notice that the only difference there was instead of slapping, I didn't slap and I just let it ring out. So for the Gipsy Kings thing, all we need to do is transfer that slap on the 3rd beat to the 4th beat, and we have exactly what the Gipsy Kings are doing. We can use all different types of fingers, and I'll show you a couple different ways to do it. That doesn't really matter as long as we're playing down on the numbers, up on the ands, and slapping on the 4th beat. So just check it out. 1 and 2 and slap and. That's basically what they're doing. We'll get a little bit jazzier with it in a second, but notice how I went up with the thumb before the slap, even though the slap is happening later. So 1 and 2 and slap and, or I could say down and up, down, up, down, up. We're going to wait right there, up with the thumb again, slap, up, 1 and 2 and slap, up, down, up, slap, up. Now I'm continuing to use my thumb before the slap and my index after the slap. We don't need to do that at all. I'm just trying to keep things compartmentalized to make it simpler. But let me do that a little bit faster on this E minor chord. So that sound, there's the rhythm there that you've heard in all those Gipsy King songs. Let's make it a little bit harder though. It's actually a little bit too hard here with the thumb because I'm going faster now, and now that's a little too much work for the thumb. So let's include some different fingers now. Let's go. I don't know if you noticed what I was doing, but I was playing down with my index on the 1st beat, and then the next time I was doing down with my thumb. It really doesn't matter. You need to find what works for your fingers. But here's an example. We go down, up, down, up. So that's a lot of index happening there. It's weird. You might think, why do we even use the thumb at all? But again, like I said, we need it before that slap, and it really does help us capture the groove of this rumba. If you did it with just one finger, it might sound, it would be hard, but it might sound not so rumba-ish. It sounds okay, but it's kind of hard and a lot of work for the index finger. So let's try starting with the thumb now. See what I did there? Down with the thumb, up with the thumb, down with my middle and the ring finger, up with the thumb again, slap, and then up. That's another way to do it. That might sound like too much to think about, but down. I like that one. Now what I was doing at the beginning of this video, we're going to look at those Gipsy Kings chords for the song Pharaon in a second. But what I was doing was I wasn't slapping with my palm. If you go back and look at it, I was going like this and getting this kind of snare drum hit. So that to me sounds a lot more dynamic and aggressive, and that's what I like. So I'm going, so it's a lot more like a snare drum slam. So what I'm doing there is actually flicking my index finger off of this little crook in my thumb. I'm doing it very quickly and silencing the strings almost at the same moment that I strike them, and it gives you this snare sound. It's just another way to slap, and it's kind of just another color in the palette of sounds we can get. So if we go back to slapping with our palm, we would sound like this. That sounds kind of like two coconuts being knocked together, I think. But this sound almost sounds more like a snare drum, almost have more of a rock feel to it. So that is the Gipsy Kings pattern. Let's put it to some chords. And the song Pharaon by the Gipsy Kings is great because it's only 4 chords and it never changes. It's just a progression that loops around and around and around. So we have a B minor chord. Unfortunately, we have to do some bar chords here. Then a G, then E minor. If you saw at the beginning of this, I was doing E minor add 9. That sounds pretty cool. And then F sharp 7. And we can wiggle our pinky around here to make it F sharp sus 4. You'll hear that actually in the song. And then take your pinky off before you come back to B minor. So let's apply our Gipsy Kings pattern to these chords. The whole song, rhythm-wise. Now this rhythm is so ubiquitous in all music. It's a Latin rhythm, but we hear that same kind of thing in all kinds of rock music too. Let's look at a couple of other pop songs where we could just kind of insert this rhythm, like this Green Day song. There's no drums in it, but or Wicked Game by Chris Isaac. Oh, well, that doesn't sound like a rumba at all, right? It is though, but it's very, very slow. So we go. A lot of nylon string guitarists will play Hotel California using a Rumba, and the Gipsy Kings did that one. I think that's on the Big Lebowski soundtrack. We're going. If you notice, sometimes on the first beat, not to get too particular, but I'm going down, up sometimes. Other times I just go down and I don't do the and of 1. That's up to you. So we could go, instead of 1 and 2 and, we can go 1, 2 and. Give it a little more breathing room. In fact, if you're having trouble with all these downs and ups, we only need 3 things in a Rumba to make it a Rumba. That would be the very first thing that we do, our downstroke, then the upstroke on the and of 2, and then our slap on the 4, and those are the 3 things for the Rumba. It would be 1 and 2 and 4. That is a Rumba rhythm too, and that sounds pretty cool. But weirdly, the less you do sometimes, the harder it is, because there's more room for error in between the beats. That's why I like to start out with 8th notes, just like a clock. We know where everything is. It's all very uniform and regimented, and then we start taking things out as we get better at it. So that's it for now. I hope you know how to play this Gipsy Kings Rumba now. Let me know if you have any questions. Check out my free workshop and also my ultimate nylon string guitar guide, where I teach you all kinds of nylon string guitar techniques, and we do a deep dive on a bunch of different ways to play Rumba.